Hello, I'm Ali Langdon. Welcome to A Current Affair here at Bondi Beach. Again, such powerful scenes, such a crowd, some telling me that this is their 6th, 7th time here, and I guess this is their backyard and they'd rather be here together with their community than at home because they strangely find peace here, paying their respects to those lost in Sunday's massacre. And the latest confirmed deaths are Sophia and Boris Gurman. They tried to stop the shooters before they reached the bridge. The Gurman family says that brave act encapsulates who they were, people who instinctively and selflessly tried to help others. Next month would have marked their 35th wedding anniversary. They died together as heroes. Earlier I was down looking at the growing mass of flowers, and I just want to share some of the beautiful messages being left. Sunflowers always grow towards the light. When the light is gone, they turn to each other. In our darkest hour, let us share the light of those lost and release it into a sky of infinite love. It is a sentiment shared by Shana Gutnick. Her father, Reuven Morrison, ran towards evil and it cost him his life. But his bravery saved who knows how many. And I sat down with Shana this afternoon.
Everyone down on the ground and him up there running straight towards the danger, running straight towards that terrorist, facing him straight down in the face, eye to eye. That was my dad. That was him.
Shana, I'm so sorry that we're sitting here and I really wish we weren't. How are you?
We're not okay.
Yeah.
Staying strong for my mum and for my children, for the community. That's what's getting us through it.
And it feels like such an empty, almost shallow question to ask. How are you? But I guess it's that roller coaster, isn't it?
It's a roller coaster. It's the roller coaster, the disbelief, the anger, the sadness, and the pride.
Tell me first about the pride, about the type of person your dad was.
My dad was a person larger than life itself. He stood strongly for what he believed in. He jumped up at the sign of terror. He didn't lay low, he didn't cower. He jumped to protect, to save the ones he loved. Cost him his life. And he saved lives. He saved so many lives. I got a message from a friend of mine that she was hiding her baby underneath her as she saw my dad facing off the terrorists, saving precious moments.
Shana, what's it like when you get the call and realise, and that was, you know, in that moment, that was your dad who
That's my
stepped up?
dad. It's just so, it's him. He was a protector, he was a papa bear. He would do anything for anyone.
And you know what? You've always known that your dad is a hero.
Always. He was my hero. Always. I was one of those kids that was always so proud of my dad for who he was, for what he stood for how proud he was in everything that he did and what he instilled in me. I was always so proud of him.
And now the whole world knows.
And now the world knows who he is.
I think everyone has seen that vision of your dad. And there is that moment after Ahmed El-Ahmed tackles the gunman and disarms him, where your dad races in. And there are bullets flying and he's throwing rocks.
That's who he was. That is exactly who he was.
He put everyone else before himself.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you take me back to Sunday night and how you found out what was happening?
I was exiting a Hanukkah event in Melbourne with my husband and children, and we saw a close friend of my husband's looking very shaken up and asked him what's wrong. He had just gotten off the phone and heard there was an active shooting going on at the Bondi Beach Hanukkah event. From that moment, I had the largest pit in my stomach. I immediately tried calling my dad, who didn't pick up. I called my mum. She picked up. I heard screaming and gunshots in the background. She was screaming that there's a shooter. Everyone was on the ground, covering their heads, including the federal police. But my dad was up there. He was up there fighting for his community, fighting for the people that he loved. And then my mum was yelling that he'd been shot.
And you're hearing all of this over the phone?
I'm hearing all this over the phone, all over the phone. My mother was screaming for help, saying there's no ambulance, they need medical help, they need to stop the bleeding. They then got oxygen masks provided by Life Saving. And then she was screaming that they had stopped providing him with oxygen. And in that moment, she had told me they put a sheet over him. And in that moment, I was praying that in her state of hysteria, she had gone delusional and that it wasn't true. And I was on the floor at that point, just unable to stand. And I just didn't want to believe it. And on the way home in the car, while I was still talking to my mum, one of my children asked, "Are we ever going to see Zeta again?"
Their grandfather.
Their grandfather. And I couldn't answer her. I couldn't answer her.
I'm just so sorry. I know with all the immense sorrow there is also overwhelming anger.
So much anger.
You're furious.
Absolutely. Livid, furious. We need a good thesaurus for all the words. Absolutely.
And talk me through that, exactly why.
Since October 7th, there has been a rising, tornado black cloud of anti-Semitism within Australia, growing and growing in strength. We saw this through endless marches, calls for intifada, calls for murder to the Jews, endless Instagram and retweeting, posting about all these things that just added fire to the hate. I was in Westfield Bondi Junction last year with my baby, wearing my Star of David necklace, and I was called a terrorist while with my baby. And there's no consequences. The government allowed this hate to fester. They allowed it to grow. The police did the best that they could with the training that they had, but it was not enough. They were not prepared for this event, and as such, the government has failed us. They have failed my father, they have failed all the victims, they have failed the Jewish community, and they have so much blood on their hands. They will not be able to wash that blood off their hands. And they knew. We had warned them. We had begged them to do something.
The Prime Minister has praised his government's overall response to anti-Semitism. Says they have harsh legislation in place already. Did that help on Sunday?
Absolutely not. What anti-Semitic legislation? There's nothing there. There's been advice given to the government. Nothing's been acted on. My children and all the schools, Jewish schools in Victoria, New South Wales, need armed guards outside their schools where they go to learn every day. It's their right as children to go to school. They need armed guards. We need armed guards outside our synagogues, our places of worship, just where we can go and be Jewish freely and celebrate who we are as a people. We need protection for that.
Your father and your mother both fled the Soviet Union.
They did.
So they could live life freely.
They
as
did.
Proud Jews.
And they did for a number of years. Australia was so kind to them. Australia gave them the freedom. They lived their lives as proud Jews. He was an incredible philanthropist, and he did so much so quietly. He gave back everything to the community.
And his final moments he gave back to?
He gave everything back. He gave himself back to his community. He lived his life for this community. It was his life's work, and he lost his life protecting them for everything that he stood for and worked so hard for.
I'm so proud of him.
His grandchildren are proud. They know their grandfather died a hero. But my children have had their world taken from them. He was the person they loved the most in this world. And he loved them. He loved them so much.
How's your mum?
The love of her life was taken from her, in front of her.
A man she met on Bondi Beach when she was 16.
In Bondi, at the beach, and love at first sight. They built the most incredible life together from that moment on.
And she watched him take his last breath.
She was with him as he took his last breath on Bondi Beach.
What is your overriding message that you want to share?
Our mission, we believe, as Jews in this world, is to bring light into this world of immense darkness. And right now, as this dark fog, immense pitch black falls upon us here in Australia, we as Jews need to keep the light alive. My dad was a hero. Don't let his death be in vain. He would want everyone to continue adding light to this world that is so dark.
Reuven Morrison, your dad. He's a hero. Thank you. Thank you.
But the main thing to recall is to have no fear at all. But the main
That is what you're seeing right down here at Bondi Beach at this very moment. And it's the likes of Reuven Morrison and his family who is very much in all of our thoughts. It's just, moments ago we saw the menorah lit. If it's possible, I think the crowd tonight is even bigger than what we saw here last night. And light is the answer, and it needs to be shone on just how this happened. I think most Australians agree this is a time to come together, but there are serious questions being raised at the highest levels. Has anti-Semitism been allowed to fester for too long? Has the government failed to crack down on hate speech? And crucially, how were the monsters who committed this act of terror able to fly under the radar?
Amid this incredible and tragic vision, a telling sign terror was about to be unleashed. An ISIS flag draped across the front windscreen of the Akram's explosive-laden car.
Contained IEDs, but I also confirmed that it contained 2 homemade ISIS flags.
Sajid Akram ensured this brave man, Boris Gurman, was the first victim of the killing spree. Boris was at Bondi with his wife of 34 years, Sophia. Sadly, she was next in the terrorists' sights. Akram Sr. then joined his son Naveed to rain bullets down on more innocent people. As the hours tick by, layers of the younger Akram's connection to radical Islam are being peeled back.
Allah will reward you for whatever action you do in His cause. Inshallah, this will save you on the Day of Judgment.
This is Naveed Akram preaching in Sydney 7 years ago, around the time he came to the attention of counter-terrorism police.
Come join us at Bankstown or in your own area and spread Islam.
It's understood Akram has links to controversial cleric Wasim Haddad. Haddad is notorious for violent anti-Semitic lectures. He came to our attention for citing religious texts about the killing of Jews.
If my comments were any way, shape or form illegal, why am I still free?
ACurrentAffair caught up with Haddad in 2016. At the time, he was raising money to hire lawyers for alleged extremists.
Who would you like to see out of jail that's in there right now that you're raising money for?
All the innocent Muslims.
It's understood Naveed Akram worshipped at Western Sydney's Al Medina Dawah Centre. It was there he was recruited as a street preacher for Haddad's Dawah Van organisation. Haddad's never been charged with terrorism offences. ACA could not reach him for comment regarding his association with Bondi shooter Naveed Akram. Through a lawyer, Haddad said he vehemently denies any knowledge of or involvement in the shootings that took place at Bondi Beach.
What's up?
Yeah.
What happens now then? How many more donations do you...
Well, what happens now? I drive off and we end this. See you later.
This with the revelation of Akram and his dad's recent trip to the nursery ground for Islamic extremism in the southern Philippines.
And where they went when they were there is under investigation.
Raises the question whether ASIO or our federal and New South Wales Police Force intelligence suffered a catastrophic failure.
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's a question that is going to be asked.
Peter Moroney is a former New South Wales Police Detective Sergeant and counter-terrorism expert.
The fact that two individuals have been able to plan, undertake what they've done, and to be able to execute it with what they've done without the knowledge of any law enforcement agency, then there is only one answer to that question, then yes, it was a fundamental failure.
ASIO found no evidence during its 6-month investigation that either the father or son had been radicalised. How times have changed. AFP Commissioner Chrissy Barrett.
This investigation will be highly visible, precise, and it will operate around the clock.
Our Prime Minister prefers to steer the conversation towards reforming our gun laws.
Consideration that will take place includes limiting the number of guns an individual can own, the type of guns that are legal, whether gun ownership should require Australian citizenship, and accelerating work on the National Firearms Register.
And I hope that this terrible event will be a wake-up call to those who've been asleep at the wheel.
The man behind the biggest gun reform in our history in the wake of the Port Arthur tragedy isn't buying it.
The focus on guns to be used as a pretext to avoid the broader debate about the spread of hatred of Jewish people and anti-Semitism.
John Howard was scathing of Anthony Albanese in his first public comments since the terror attack.
His greatest failure is not to provide the moral leadership that a Prime Minister can in denouncing anti-Semitism.
The political fallout is being felt around the country. In Melbourne, it was the Premier feeling the heat.
I welcome the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Richard Marles MP, the Premier of Victoria, the Honourable Jacinta Allen MP, the Deputy Premier, Ben Carroll MP.
We must come together as a nation. I think overwhelmingly that is the feedback that I get across the board of what people want to see.
The country's political and law enforcement hierarchy walking out on questions about those preaching videos involving Naveed Akram.
If there is information and intelligence around in 2019 that he was espousing the certain rhetoric that he was, and there's some more recent intelligence that says he's associated with certain individuals, then that should have been sufficient, I would suggest, for him at least to be tagged onto a flight watch list of some description, so that we knew when he left the country it would be pinged and we could get an understanding of where he's going, who he's travelling with, how long he's going for. What will come and what is coming are going to be a lot of hard number of questions asked of law enforcement and of ASIO.
Yeah, a lot of hard questions there, and it's not just the monsters themselves we need to take a look at, but the society that allowed this to happen. Australia's Special Envoy to combat anti-Semitism was appointed by the Prime Minister to help tackle this issue. Gillian Siegel says this attack didn't come without warning, and I spoke to her a short time ago. Gillian, you've been in this role for nearly 18 months now. Did you ever expect something this big, this evil to happen here in Australia?
No, Ali. It's come as such a great shock. There was always a fear with the rise in anti-Semitism that something would happen, as it has overseas. But we never expected something, as you say, this terrible and this all-consuming to happen to the Jewish community. And it's obviously had a huge impact on the community as a whole, with the outpouring of grief has been quite amazing.
In the wake of the attack, you said words lead to actions and actions lead to things like this. What are you saying exactly?
We know from history that hateful words lead to hateful deeds, and that's because it inspires people, and this is where we've landed, with a major massacre of the Jewish community, of innocent women and children and people celebrating Hanukkah.
Do you feel you're being heard and that there is now an urgency on moving on this long list of recommendations that you've given them to fight anti-Semitism in this country?
Yes, well, I have met with the Prime Minister today, and I think he's under no illusion how serious, obviously, the issue is. I think he's been meeting with many of the victims. I think he's very, very upset about what has happened and concerned for the country as well as for the Jewish community. And he understands, I believe, the seriousness of it. And I think there will be a response soon.
I mean, you say you want the response to be as strong as what we saw after the Port Arthur massacre back in 1996. The government now promising a national gun registry. That'll be by 2028, so more than 2 years away. Is that enough?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I think the question of what further reform we need in relation to guns is a matter for recommendation from the police, and if they think that's what's required, then I am very supportive of that. We have to deal with it in a multifactorial way, and that's what's not easy, because it affects the whole of government. But I believe the government now realises the necessity for it and the seriousness of it, and I'm expecting a response soon.
Do you think it's only now they're understanding? You think they've been slow to react up until this point?
I think that the events of Sunday have shown them that it hasn't been enough. I mean, by definition, it hasn't been enough. We have people who are infected with this hatred who will take to mass murder, and we need to focus everyone in this country on not only embracing the Jewish community, but embracing Australian values and ensuring that this hatred, which is absolutely, based on myths and misinformation, and that's infected this country and others, it needs to be just completely pushed to the margins of society. And we can do it. We can, as a country, push it to the margins. The country will never be the same. We cannot expect to go back to where we were pre-Sunday night, okay? Because that will be a scar forever on this country and on the community. But we have to both build back community and a sense of cohesion, but that will only happen if we confront anti-Semitism in all its forms and in all the places in which it rests, whether it's at universities, whether it's in schools, whether it's in the health system or online. We have to tackle it everywhere, and we have to do it with absolute determination. And I think the government understands that now. I think Sunday was a very defining moment.
We heard the Prime Minister say this afternoon that this isn't a time for politics, it is a time for national unity. What do you think it's time for?
I don't disagree with the fact that, of course, it's a time for unity, but it's also a time of real determination to fight anti-Semitism. We have to do it, because it's not only the future of the Jewish community, but I really think it's the future of our country. If we can't defeat this hatred, then we don't have an Australia that we want for the future. It's not the Australia that we have in our values of respect for all and peace for all and a place where we can all flourish. It's absolutely not that. And so I think it's a place now, it's a time now for real action and real determination. It's not part of our normal society, and people who sprout anti-Semitism or hatred of Jews in any form, in any place, should be completely pushed aside and saying, you do not reflect us in Australia.
Strongly put. Thank you, Gillian. Appreciate it. And Vanessa Miller, who have been hugging their kids a little bit tighter, I feel, these past few days. You were caught up in the gunfire, and it was that moment when you realised that, Wayne, I think you had Gigi here, who's 4. Capri, sorry. I'm distracted because Gigi's just doing a runner. She's the 3-year-old, and she's the one in that moment that you weren't sure where she was. You've made the decision deliberately to bring them here tonight. Can I ask why?
Wayne? That one, sorry.
We wanted them to come here. This is a very special celebration for us, Hanukkah, and it was horribly disturbed on Sunday night, and just want them to be around people and people of love and just share the light and just remember what happened, and just you can't hide from it.
And I feel even just in the little time that we've spent together, Capri has lots of questions, and she's very, very smart. Does she talk about it? Does she mention it?
She does talk about it a lot. Yeah. This is her special top that she wore. Her approach protects her. She didn't have a skirt.
Your special top, sweetheart. And you've got your special ears too, isn't it? I love them. I love them. So just for those who might not be aware of the story, you were here for the Hanukkah celebration and when the gunshots ran out, and when you grabbed Capri, and that's when you both realised that neither of you had Gigi.
We were all there. We got split up as...
What does gunshot mean?
That's a very good
There were loud
question,
bangs.
sweetheart.
It was like the firecrackers, you know, when we were lying under the table.
And Daddy was protecting you.
What's a firecracker?
You know where we go, loud bangs.
I think she's a bit...
Yeah, and I think all natural things that you sort of expect from a 4-year-old, right?
Flying crackers.
Yeah, flying crackers.
flying
You know what? I
crackers.
think that's the best description I've heard of it yet. You know, that's why you're so clever. But then in that moment when you don't know where she is, that's the part I think all of us as parents can't get our head around. Explain what happened.
So Wayne was with Capri, and unfortunately one of the names, Marika, I was talking to Marika on the white, where she was sitting on the white benches. I left my bags next to her. Her and her friend Argy were sitting together. Argy knows Capri, and they said to me, please bring Capri here. We would like to see her. I took 5 steps away, maybe 6, and all of a sudden the shots were fired. Gigi was playing at the front, there in front of Marika and Argy, and all I could just see is people running. I saw...
You saw the worst of it, I think, is the best way of putting that.
I saw what I shouldn't have to see.
Yeah, I think that's true. And then I know then when you eventually saw Gigi's pink little top, and there was this woman, Jess, that was
Jess Rose, an absolute superhero.
Do you know how she is? We know that she was injured.
Yeah, we met with her yesterday. She came to our house, and we just hugged, and just an absolute superhero who she couldn't find her 3-year-old, and she grabbed ours and lay on top of our child. Just saved her.
So sorry. That's the story
She
we hear.
got shot and then she was at the doctor.
Yeah, and you know what? The doctor made it all better. Yeah, that's just what doctors do. It's what doctors do.
How did they do it?
And how, in that moment, just to have her back in your arms, and to know that a stranger shielded her for you.
I went to the doctor before.
I called Wayne and I asked him, I said, do you have both girls? And he says he's only got Capri. I was hoping he had Gigi. He didn't have Gigi, and I ran back inside. I got dragged out, and I said, no, my baby's in there, my baby. You know, I ran out back into the field. There were just bullets everywhere, people dropping, there was blood everywhere. And I couldn't find Gigi. And someone that saw me said, you've got to run. I said, my baby, I can't leave my baby. Please just go. And I was hoping, okay, maybe my sister had her, because my sister was there as well with her daughter.
What? And I can feel you right now, reliving all of that. And the bit you've got to focus... No. But the bit to focus on is that she's running around. Look, she's there, right there.
Gigi,
eating some banana bread, you know. Hi, sweetheart. Can you come up with Mummy? Hi. See, we just needed something to eat, didn't we? We just needed something to eat. Hi, sweetheart. But the acts of bravery that we saw.
This just saved her life. I know it.
Yeah.
I say to everyone, and I say it again, a 3-year-old doesn't know to drop or run. She was, after Jess did say to me that she was running around crying and screaming for Mummy. She would have been an easy target.
Oh, of course you know how to read. That does not surprise me, Capri. How do you have the conversation? Like so many parents all around. I'm struggling with it with the kids. How do you do it when they were there and they experienced it?
You know what? We just tell them that we were there to protect them.
So
Those bad people, and they were taken away by the police.
Yeah. Do you feel safe down here now?
Yeah. Naughty people.
Naughty people.
There's no more naughty people.
No more naughty people.
We will call them poo-poo.
You're allowed to call them that. And does it just warm your heart then to see this
the community and
more
Australians, no matter what religion or race are here to commemorate the horror That should never happen on Australian soil.
I don't think anyone would blame you if you said we are never stepping foot on this beach again. But you're not going to give them that power.
We're not going to give them that power. We will come here every single day.
This is our
backyard.
It's our happy place.
Our happy place.
And it'll always be our happy place.
Yeah. Well, look after yourselves. Good. I love that you've got your special protective shirt on. It's very special.
Mummy, how do you know it's my protective shirt?
Because mummies know everything, okay?
Mummies know everything.
I'm so glad you guys are all okay, and thank you for coming and joining us today, okay?
It's been a tough day. It's all just kicking in, you running on adrenaline.
You do.
And yeah, today was the first day I ate.
I can tell that's all a lot. And so look, guys, I'm just going to say, look after yourselves, and we're about to take a break, because as we do, I just want to remind people of the hugs, the kind words, the gentle moments that we've seen and this community belief. Thank you for joining us for our special coverage of the Bondi terror attack. Today we've seen just how strong this diverse community is and how they're helping each other in this darkest of times. Everywhere you look, there are little signs of hope and healing.
Flowers, silence and grief. Then Bondi in unison. When we needed it the most, the seaside community is taking the tiniest steps out of the darkness, hugs, kind words, and gentle moments where no words are needed.
They pick up on things that we just don't understand. That's wonderful.
Therapy dogs Dave and Bronix are easing the load. They have an important job to do.
That brief moment, the dog makes the connection, people make the connection with the dog. We co-regulate with the dog, so there's a physiological thing going on as well. But just that moment of relief, brief as it might be.
Not far from the scene of utter carnage, a small group of children play on the iconic Bondi sand. Among them, Chloe, 9 years old, who did what she could to help. She wrote a poem.
Thinking of everyone in Waverley and Bondi, especially the ones we had to say goodbye. Now is the time to be strong, when our world has gone so wrong.
Chloe and her friend Evie are on school holidays.
I love swimming in the beach and going bodyboarding with my family.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mums trying to show their kids that it's going to be okay.
I just want it to be as normal, come back to being as normal as possible.
Further along the beach, two dads and their kids are hard at work on a sandcastle, this one with special meaning. It's the Star of David. At the famous North Bondi break, surfers, back in the waves, metres away, abandoned belongings. Their owners fled the terror. Bondi's Trent Knox is a leader in the health and fitness community this stretch of sand is known for.
The only thing we've got is love, and I think that's really important. We're certainly projecting that to our running community and the Bondi community and Australians across the board.
He says now, more than ever, Bondi is looking out for each other.
We need to keep getting people out in front of each other, conversations, grabbing someone by the hand and taking them for a walk, and just being with one another.
Campbell Parade is still empty and closed off, but one by one, shops are reopening and people are coming back, trying to feel normal. Bondi-born Motorino making the decision to open today.
As a Bondi community, we're all one.
For Clary Moore, one of the founders, it's not about sales, but support.
And I think it's moving hearing people's stories, and then it's also moving seeing everyone come down and support the community.
Des the Music Man made his way from King's Cross today. His gift, a simple one.
That was my small contribution to the shocking tragedy.
Bondi is wounded, her people are suffering, and while the clouds hang low today, this place is more than a landmark, it's a community which cares.
And how nice is it to see kids back on the beach? So I have an update on Ahmed Al-Ahmed, the hero who saved countless lives. Today, he had many bedside visitors, including the Prime Minister and Governor General, who came with a special message from King Charles. Now, he goes back in for surgery tomorrow, and I am pleased to say that so far more than $2.1 million has been raised for him by the public. That is just incredible. We'll be back in a moment. We've seen rabbis leading the crowd in prayer, in song, lighting the menorah right now. It has been such an incredible vigil here held tonight, and it is sending that message of we stand for peace, inclusion, love. Our thoughts are with everyone who's recovering in hospital tonight and the families of those who lost their lives. It's good night.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Hanukkah.